Peace and blessings. This is Raisa Ghiwala, the divorced Muslimah coach. So today's verse is coming from chapter 2, verse 272. And like I mentioned, I am going to be relating this to the verse that I believe in the Quran is the solution for everything. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. So today's verse says, "It is not for you to put them on the right path. Rather, Allah puts on the right path whom He wills. Whatever good you spend is for yourselves, and you shall not spend but to seek the pleasure of Allah. And whatever good thing you spend shall be repaid to you in full, and you shall not be wronged." And this has such a deeper meaning. And what Allah is telling us is that He alone is in charge of outcomes. So, and this can be kind of difficult for us, right? And helping us to acknowledge and recognize that we can't choose someone's path for them. You know, what you'd like someone else to do, how your plan of how you think their experience or their journey should evolve, right? Like, we can't live someone else's life for them. And that can be really difficult and hard when you see your loved ones doing things or in certain situations that are perhaps even harming themselves, right? And fixing someone, saving them, rescuing them, having that need to do that is not our place to do that, right? And I think here it's more important to check into why we have this need to, if that's coming up, that you have to rescue or save or protect someone from their own self, right? This is more of kind of an insight into what we can learn about ourselves, right? And this kind of conversation goes beyond the scope of this particular video today. But what we're looking at here really is that change comes from Allah, and it's individual, it's personal between Allah and that person, because they are on their own journey with themselves and Allah, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also doesn't change the condition of a person until they change what is in themselves. So if we try to rescue and save somebody, they're not having the opportunity to change themselves on their own, right? So, and here we recognize here that also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge and control of all the outcomes. And the best way for you to support somebody that you care about and love is to accept them and to meet them where they're at. Now I want to make it clear that this doesn't mean that we allow people to disrespect us or cross our healthy boundaries. But here really is looking into and understanding that our job is our intention and our effort, and Allah's job is the outcomes, right? And change really comes through the bond and the relationship that you have with someone, where you can inspire them. And really, this is the prophetic model, where the Prophet, peace be upon him, he did accept people for where they were at. He spoke the truth and had boundaries, but he also allowed people to come to the truth through their own experience and their own journey, meaning that we don't have control over people's thoughts or their feelings or their actions, but what we do have control over is our own behavior and our own actions. And so really the message here is to know your own intention and check into yourself, really going deep and finding out what that really is, because any good that we're trying to do should be coming from the place that we're trying to please Allah alone, not trying to change somebody, right? Maybe trying to inspire or support someone with whatever it is that they're struggling. And it's for the pleasure of Allah, not in trying to change the outcome, because remember, that's not our domain, right? And getting our intention correct here is really going to be also reflected in the type of reward that we're going to get for this, right? So if you're doing things, or if you feel like you need to, the way you're trying to help someone on their journey is by getting them to perform a certain way or behave a certain way, according to maybe your agenda, because you want them, to be on the right path, right? That's still controlling outcomes, because then the intention becomes for you wanting them. Yes, the intention behind it is because you want them to do what's pleasing to Allah, but that's just the thing. The life that each person chooses to live has to come from within, not someone forcing or manipulating or controlling your actions, right? So, because when we start falling into that, it gets a little bit even deeper in thinking we need outcomes to go a certain way. It becomes more about what it is that we're worshiping or who it is that we're worshiping, right? So how can we even recognize what our intention is? Well, it comes down to really knowing yourself, right? Your connection with yourself, your connection with Allah, and being at peace with yourself, which comes from knowing and remembering Allah. And this is a test for our relationships with loved ones, and especially when we're divorcing and co-parenting, because it can be difficult to remember this when we're in these stressful situations, which does require us to have Allah in our thinking and our actions at all times. And I'm not just talking about dhikr, remembrance of Allah. I'm talking about a state of being beyond that, right? And isn't that what fasting is all about in this month of attaining taqwa and God consciousness? We're going to be talking about what gets in the way of successfully navigating divorce with the peace and the good connection with Allah that is needed to attain that peace, no matter your situation. So sign up on the link below to get all of the details, and you'll find the link attached on the bottom here. And I'm looking forward to moving forward in this conversation with you. If you found this helpful, share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Raisa Ghiwala, to continue getting these videos as they come out in Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.